motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. Come on. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I'm a dick thrower, her neck and her back hurting, cutthroat. I have you like a brand new version. It's like once you get used to it, then you start serving. Hop up on top and start jiggy jerking. Slow down for me, are you moving too fast? My fingers keep slipping, I'm trying to grip that ass. Keep being hard-headed, I'ma make it get on me. Got a human up disguise, but my face is a doggy. If you loving my bulk, let me bury my bone. I got 4 or 5 bad married bitches at home. One of my bitches fell in love with that outside dick. That outside dick keep them hoes sick. Like, I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me.
It's like I got the world in my palms, your girl up under my arm. She fucked up from the charm. She loved the way the dick stay hard from 12 to early in the morning. Fine bitches, if you're listening, you heard me, I'm strong. If you're going through your cycle, I ain't with it, I'm gone. You must have heard about them hoes that I beat up in my home. They wasn't telling the truth, baby, you knew they was wrong. Nah, make it official when I'm some of that dawn. I don't mind buying blue, you're riding too. Don't be asking nigga questions about where I'm driving you. The mama, my shit together, I ain't jiving you. I don't think that nigga could do you better than I could do. You know, the juvenile from caught the street by the derby. Same nigga used to be running with Rusty and Kirby. Can no player from the know you get a chance with it, but I can't bounce with you without using my hands with it.
I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. Slow motion, she open, I'm hoping she don't leave my dick broken with brush burns and swollen. I'm toting she wanted me to make her out a believer. I guarantee ya, I'ma see you when I see ya. And just don't holler out my name like we was all that. Yo, pussy, throw back, and you know that. So stop stunting, slow motion for a real nigga. I'm going off that incredible potion and I'm gonna deal with you.
I like how them Victoria's Secret sitting that ass. Let me pull some more hip and Hennessy in your glass. Would I be violating if I grab me a handful? I'm knowing what's happening. All I want is a sample. Who you with? I'm in the rental today. It's going down in Hampton Inn and I remember the way. Less money we spend on bullshit, the more for the weed. What it's gonna take to get you to come in slow motion with me? Like,
I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, slow motion for me, slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me.
We Japanese still. You getting cooked in front of your family like a Japanese meal. It's just shoot the hibachi and none of you niggas can stop me. Can't help but watch me. So look, bro. I got to discuss the Lemba today because I think a lot of people, especially racial purists, go full retard mode when discussing diversity within African populations or when discussing certain haplogroups, certain group associations like quote unquote Jews with, you know, a sub-Saharan African population, and people lose their mind because everyone wants to be a racial purist. We had someone last night during the live stream that Moore completed and did on his own. someone was saying in the comments something to the effect of people with EM34 in East Africa, pretty much trying to demarcate them, like you EM34, they're EM34, y'all share common ancestry, you from the same group. It's the same concept with these people that are known as Lemba, Remba, whatever you want to call them. They have the haplogroup JP58, meaning they descend from Eurasian males that were once in the Caucasus mountain range, that were once in what we call the Levant, once in the Middle East, and created several different populations, including Jews, Israelites, Arabs. Some of them became Persians. Some of them, went to Europe, went to Greece, and so other locales, North Africa, Egypt, so on and so forth. So what happens is in a lot of these conversations, people just kick the can further down the road. And what I mean by this is, well, they not Jews, they JP58, which is shared amongst the Jews. Well, they don't have the extended CMH. Well, majority of Jewish people don't have the extended CMH. What are you trying to say? They still share common ancestry with these groups. However you try to slice it, cut it, whatever, or divert from it, that's really what the purpose of people bringing this stuff up. The common issue is always going to go back to the root of people having a hard time understanding diversity. Not even understanding it, because I think they do have a clear understanding of diversity. They have a hard time accepting that people that look different are diverse or could come from the same backgrounds, same ancestry as people that have particular practices, customs, or social milieus, or belong to different social milieus. That's the issue here. That's why there's a big uproar with people like the Lemba, but the Lemba are not special. And what I mean by that, they're not special, they're not unique. There are other African groups that harbor J lineages or harbor Eurasian lineages. There are Cameroonians that have it. There are Nigerians that have it, as we brought up to at nauseum on the channel. The Bagara Arabs of Nigeria, the Bagara Arabs of Western Central Africa also have JP58. There are Senegambians or Senegal and Gambians, Senegalese and Gambians that have JP58, that have these different non-Eurasian markers. And it makes sense because we know the history of these different areas and locales. We know that the Arabic expansion brought in some Arabic males from Saudi Arabia, from that region, that made a trek through Egypt, through North Africa, all the way to West and Central Africa as well. We understand that. And there was also an ancient introgression event of non-Eurasian, non-African males coming into Egypt, coming into Ethiopia, coming into places like making their way down to Kenya, Eritrea, making their way across North Africa, and making their way to some areas known as West Africa, Mauritania, so on and so forth, right? That's a history. How do we know that? Because the genetics show us that there was an ancient introgression event of Eurasians spilling over into Africa. So that was 3,000 years ago. You fast forward to today, after these guys were mixing, after these males came in, mixed with the local females, right? The slow motion, right? So after they did all that, you fast forward 3,000 years later, what do you expect these people to look like? They're going to look like the local populations that they merged with, that their ancestors merged with thousands and thousands of years ago. And people don't want to accept that. But that's the biological reality. It's just like with Dante. Dante was like, oh, your channel's boring, whatever. You know why my channel's boring? Because I deal with the reality of things, the empirical data of things. You guys deal with, the fanciful things like saying that all Africans are Israelites or all African Americans. That's all fanciful, right? That's exciting to y'all. But the simple reality that builds us all, that makes us all, informs us all, it's not that enthusiastic to you guys. It's not that, that's boring to you guys, because me just telling you that, hey, a bunch of Eurasian men came in, had sex with females, merged, and had left a progeny behind. That's not exciting. If I would have said they were Israelites or everybody was Israelites, you guys would jump up and support and be like, yeah, that's what's up. That's the issue. If I was supporting the idea of the fanciful race theory that, there are strict lines that divide humanity by our social racial categories, you guys would support it because that's exciting to you guys. The thing is that people move, people migrate, people have sex. That's what humans do. That's what mammalia do, right? Mammals have sex, they move, they migrate, they do those things. So that's all we're reading about. That's what demography is, the study of movements of people groups. And you guys don't like it. Yeah, you guys are upset because you want to separate and demarcate certain people. White supremacists want to demarcate Lemba because they don't want to accept their non-African origins. And then you got people on the other side of the spectrum saying the only true Jews are the black ones. Well, you wouldn't have those black Jews like the Lemba. You wouldn't have those black Jews like some of the Senegambian people that we mentioned earlier. You wouldn't have those groups if there wasn't a introgression event or movement or migration event of Eurasian males that were most likely white that came down and intermingled and mixed with the local populations of Africa. They wouldn't exist because that's how you get them in the first damn place, by that interaction between those two different groups. Right? So I'm going to read some literature to you guys just to exemplify this. And I wanted to do this, exemplifying and elucidating the ancestry of Sudanese because they're a great example of this, of haplogroup J markers, Eurasian markers being found in the continent of Africa. Right, hence Luso-Africans, exactly. Portuguese-speaking Africans. There's a considerable amount of those people coming from Sephardic Jewish people that were expelled during the colonial period to the west coast of Africa, and they mixed with the local women. They had the women slow motion for them. All right, that's just what it is. It is what it is. And that population, some of that progeny kept mixing in with the locals. Fast forward today, you have people there today that look similar to the local population, but their ancestry goes back to those Jews. People have they take issue with it because they want to demarcate anyone who looks different because the idea of race is still lingering in their head. Sorry about that. Had some technical issues. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to go to the first paper today and begin to elucidate this for you guys. The first paper we're going to be dealing with is the Lemba Origins Revisited, tracing the ancestry of the Y chromosomes of South African and Zimbabwean Lemba. The mind frame of this paper, bro, like what they tried to do in this paper was kind of idiotic, in my opinion, my honest and humble opinion. with them trying to demarcate the Lemba, because what they basically said was the Lemba, after you study their STRs, are not Jewish because they don't have the extended CMH. They have the original CMH, but they don't have the extended CMH back in 2009. This is what I'm talking about when people kick the can further down the road. This is called kicking the can further down the road. If you're saying that they're Persians or Arab migrants, you're still connecting them to Jewish people. You're still doing that. You guys don't understand what you're saying. If you're saying that Lemba people, which again, this is not the main focal point of this video of connecting them to Jews. This is not the main focal point. And right, more, they cut out majority of the other South African Jews too because they don't have the extended CMH. And they ignored Michael Hammer's paper and the conclusion he came to in the damn paper. The point of his paper was to say that Jews came from a meta population of people that not only have the extended CMH, that the Jews were not just composed and comprised of the extended CMH. That was the point of his paper. But they ignored all that to try to make this demarcating paper. They're still related to Jews, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you cut it, because their ancestors are non-African people. Just means that Y chromosome, the major Y chromosome clade that they have, developed outside the continent of Africa. That's all that means. That's nothing mystical about that. You guys don't have to lose your shit behind that. There are plenty of Africans that have those type of male and female origins. You got females in Ethiopia and in Eritrea with R0 as their mitochondrial DNA. That's just telling you that their mitochondrial DNA developed outside the continent of Africa, meaning they come from females that developed those markers outside the continent of Africa. I got to keep putting emphasis on this because you guys mystify and mythicize every damn thing, especially when it comes to DNA, because you guys keep trying to infuse your ideas of racial hierarchy into this damn thing. And none of that stuff means the can of beans, bro, to the subject. All right. So anyway, so this paper right here, it reads, background, previous historical, anthropological, and genetic data providing overwhelming support of the Semitic origins of the Lemba, a Bantu-speaking people in Southern Africa. Objective to revisit the question concerning genetic affinities of Lemba and Jews. These are two different things right here, Semitic origins, Lemba and Jews. These are two different things. But they get messy with this paper, try to merge the two as if it's the same or mutually exclusive. It is not. Anyway, they talk about the methods, the results. We're going to go down here. The Lemba have a strong oral history of non-African origins and a culture similar to that practiced by Jewish Arabic people. They live among other larger groups of people in Southern Africa, mainly the Venda. In Northern Soto or Petty, and these people here, Sekhulin, and among the Shona in the southern parts of Zimbabwe. While some Lemba, particularly those from South Africa, claim Jewish origins, the Jewish link is not universally accepted. There have been several studies suggesting Islamic connection with Arabs. Again, if they are indeed the product of Arabs, it's saying the same goddamn thing. It says, moreover, some of the Lemba who live in Zimbabwe, referred to here as Rimba, their name for themselves, since there is no L sound in their spoken language, Shona, identify with Arabic ancestry and several clan names in the use of Arabic in origin. According to Von Warmello, the ancestors of Lemba came from a huge town somewhere across the seas where they were skilled in metalwork, pottery, textile, shipbuilding, presumably the same place Mathiva refers to as Sina or Sana. They came to this country to trade their goods, especially for gold. They began leaving some of their men behind with unsold cargo and thus established posts. They moved further and further inland and became well known with the locals, but did not mix with them as they deem themselves superior. This part right here is idiotic because we know they mixed with the locals because they got mitochondrial DNA coming from African females. Anyway, a few genetic studies have attempted to elucidate the ancestry of the Lemba, and classical genetic markers and mitochondrial DNA restriction fragments linked polymorphisms were used. No differences between the Lemba and other South African populations could be detected. That means they mixed. However, Y chromosome, for anybody that's watching, what this means here is they share haplogroups with the local South African populations, meaning female and male, because some of them have EM2, E1B1A as their haplogroups, and some E1B1B markers that are known to be in South Africa. Sorry, I clicked off of there. So they share male and female lineages with locals, which makes this part right here make no damn sense. Anyway, however, Y chromosome RFLP studies conducted by Spertle and Jenkins provide the first definitive evidence that the male gene pool of South African Lemba were derived in part from non-African sources. Based on the 49A system, 53% of the Y chromosomes in the Lemba were assigned to a haplotype that was also found in considerable frequencies in the South African Indians at 38%, and in Jewish populations from South Africa, Europe, and Yemen, less than 50%. Although Spertle and Jenkins could not distinguish between Jewish and non-Jewish Y chromosomes at this level of resolution, they concluded that non-African Y chromosomes in the Lemba were of Semitic origin. Using a combination of 6 short tandem repeat markers in conjunction with 6 biallelic markers, Thomas et al. 9 were able to further resolve the Y chromosomes in the Lemba. They found that a particular Y chromosome haplotype, referred to as the Cohen monohaplotype, was present in the Lemba at frequencies of 8.8%, so 12 out of 136. The CMH had previously been reported at frequencies of 44.9% in Ashkenazi and 56.1% in the Sephardic Kohanim, descendants of Jewish priests, and among Ashkenazi and Sephardic Israelites at 13.2% and 9.8% respectively. Thomas et al. Estimated that CMH originated approximately 2,000 to 3,200 years ago and suggested that this Y chromosome haplotype was useful in tracing ancestry. The CMH was subsequently shown to segregate on the background of haplogroup J1 to F2A and was present in samples of Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Kurdish Jews without considering the religious status at frequencies at 7.6%, 6.4%, and 10.1%, respectively. So already, just to recapitulate what we just read, this is a minority. This is a minority. This is the minority of what groups? 7.6% of the Ashkenazi have this particular CMH. 6.4% of the Sephardic have this, and 10.1% of the Kurdish Jews have it. That's a minority of these groups. Just like there's a minority of the Lemba that have it. And they're trying to further demarcate that, like, this is so dumb. It doesn't matter. They all go back to this group. Watch this. They all go back to this group where it says the CMH originated approximately 2,000, 3,200 years ago. It would all descend from that group if they have the CMH. They would all converge to one male that originally had it at first, and he had progeny, he had children. These children, throughout time, continue to move, migrate, and mix until they reach the current population density that they are now. So the whole argument is just fucking stupid. It's dumb. I don't know how else to put this. There's no collegiate way to say this. This is a dumbass argument. But I'm only reading this because this has nothing to do with the fact that they're connected with Jews. I'm only reading this to elucidate and clear up the idiocy that a lot of these groups have. A lot of these people have when it comes to Africans having non-African origins, whether male or female. The point is, and the point still remains, the Lemba group and the Jewish groups share common male ancestry that goes back at least 2,000 to 3,200 years ago. You can't get around that. You can pontificate and dance around the issue all fucking day. Jam on it, jam on it, jam on. You can do that all day. You can break dance, flare kick, wheel, do all that shit. You can do whatever you want to do. The fact still remains. The signature on the Lemba's Y chromosomes and the signature on these Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Kurdish Jews Y chromosome all converge to that individual that first had that mutation on his Y chromosome 2,000 to 3,200 years ago. Now, I'm going to address this. Even, saying that they have differences on their Y chromosome, higher STRs, does not change that. That just means that they differentiated, and what we think is of a Jewish population is not a homogenous population. They quote Michael Hammer in his paper, and it says the same thing. Hold on, let me go to that real quick. So this is Michael Hammer, 2009. Extended Y chromosome haplotypes resolve multiple unique lineages of the Jewish priesthood. Again, multiple and unique lineages. That's what the paper says. 2009 is when this was published. Let's go all the way down where he says, here we discuss alternative explanations for the presence of several founding lineages within the Kohanim. One possibility is that multiple males, you see that? It's in the damn title. Multiple males, not one singular group. This is what the paper actually says. Were designated as Kohanim early in the establishment of the priesthood. Multiple males, multiple, more than one, were designated as Kohanim early in the establishment of the priesthood. We perform exploratory simulations to assess the likelihood of the survival of multiple. Read what this says, multiple. I know reading comprehension sucks, especially in the online community, because you guys are not reading to comprehend none of this stuff. You're reading or just looking at stuff to try to reinforce your racist ass ideas. That's all you're doing. You're not doing it to get understanding, and with it all not getting understanding. The likelihood of survival of multiple paternal lineages in the history of Ashkenazi Kohanim. The probability of survival more than a single haplogroup depends mainly on the population size and to a lesser extent on the number of haplogroups that are assumed to have founded the initial Kohanim group. For example, if we begin the initial population of 50 Kohanim carrying a total of 10 haplogroups, I'm gonna slap somebody in their fucking face one day. I'm telling you, this is what I'm gonna end up slapping one of y'all, man, because this is the idiocy and the stupidity of this goddamn community. It's just beyond me. It's just beyond me. We find that there is very low probability of survival more than a single haplogroup after 120 generations. We obtain a similar result if we begin simulation with 50 males, each carrying a unique haplogroup. However, if we begin with 100 males carrying 10 haplogroups, the mean number of the haplogroups surviving for 120 generations is less than 1. There will be a reasonably high probability that more than a single Kohen haplogroup let me read this again. Thus, there would be a reasonably high probability that more than a single Kohen haplogroup could have survived in the Ashkenazi population since the initial founding of the priesthood approximately 3,000 years ago. If we would be willing to accept an initial founding population size of less than 50 priests. However, our simulation results also suggest that it's highly unlikely that as many haplogroups as we actually observe will persist under this simple model. Another model that deserves consideration is a metapopulation. What is a metapopulation? For anybody don't know, metapopulation. Read this shit, 'cause I'm getting frustrated even doing this. This is a meta. What is a metapopulation? Metapopulation is a population of populations or a group of groups that is made up of the same species. So the metapopulation is. It's not singular, not homogeneous. It's a group of groups. Population of population. All right? So let's go back. Let's go back to Michael Hammer. I really ain't even got to the meat and potatoes of this real quick. Another model that deserves consideration is a metapopulation, in which semi-isolated communities maintain multiple, there go that word again, coeval lineages, each with a certain probability of extinction and replacement. In this model, multiple coeval lineages would then persist in the entire population. This is what the paper said, man. Disregard that shit. Just remove that from your goddamn memory banks. Don't even regard this. In new lineages will be expected to accrue among coening over time. The presence of several founding lineages among the coening of this survey, both shared or specific to Ashkenazi and non-Ashkenazi communities, as well as highly variable frequencies of these lineages among subpopulations within Ashkenazi and non-Ashkenazi communities, may lend support to a metapopulation model. I'm about to turn the damn video off right now. I'm about to turn. I need you to stop right there. Just get murked when the clips disperse. Don't leave yet. The shit gets worse. Mutation alone does not provide an explanation for the multiplicity of the coening haplogroups. Again, it's the multiplicity of these things. Because the ages of most of these haplogroups predate the foundation of the Jewish people. Indeed, our divergence time estimate for JP58, JM410, ancestral, JM12, lineages based on variation at the set of 9 SDRs and our Israelite population sample are 19,000 plus or minus 5.6 thousand, 22.6 plus or minus 2.9 thousand, and 15.1 plus or minus 3.1 thousand years, respectively. In conclusion, we demonstrate that 46.1% of coening carry Y chromosomes belonging to a single paternal lineage. There it is, JP58. That likely originated in the Near East well before the dispersal of Jewish groups in the diaspora. Support for Near Eastern origin of this lineage comes from its high frequency in our samples of Bedouins and Yemeni, 67%, and Jordanians at 55%, and its precipitous drop in frequency as one moves away from Saudi Arabia and the Near East. Moreover, there's a striking contrast between the relatively high frequency of JP58 in Jewish populations at 20% and Kohanim at 46% approximately. And its vanishingly low frequencies in our sample of non-Jewish population that hosted Jewish diaspora communities outside of the Near East. An extended Kohanim monohaplotype accounts for 64.6% of the chromosomes with the JP58 background and 29.8% of the Kohanim Y chromosomes surveyed here. So a fraction of the fraction of the fraction. A fraction of the fraction of the fraction is what we're dealing with for the people that have the extended. These results are also confirmed that lineages characterized by the 6 YSCRs used to define the original CMH are associated with 2 divergent subclades within the haplogroup J and thus cannot be assumed, here it is, to represent a single, recently expanding paternal lineage. By combining information from a sufficient number of SNPs and SCRs and a large sample of Jewish and non-Jewish populations, we are able to resolve the phylogenetic position of the CMH and pinpoint its geographic distribution. Our estimates of the correlation time also lend support to the hypothesis that the extended CMH represented a unique founding lineage of the ancient Hebrews that had been paternally inherited along with the Jewish priesthood. However, the sharing of several less frequent haplogroups and monohaplotypes within these haplogroups between Ashkenazi and non-Ashkenazi communities, as well as evidence for the persistence of population-specific Kohanim haplogroups, here it is, supports the formulation that males from other remote lineages Read the shit. It's on the screen. Read it. Hold on. Let me go to the comments real quick. Y'all getting me tight. Palermo, where you at? Where's Palermo at? Read this part right here for me, Palermo. Read it. What does that say right there? What does that say? I want you to read it. I'm going to cure the idiocy of you people, man. I'm going to cure it. Read these damn papers, man. Read it. Supports the formulation that males from other remote lineages also contributed to the Jewish priesthood both before and after the separation. I'm going to read it again. Also contributed. This is the paper that's quoted. Also contributed to the Jewish priesthood both before and after the separation of Jewish populations in the diaspora. Oh my God. Oh, okay. My bad, Palermo. I'm sorry for turning up on you. You know how I do, man. Because, you know, it's too many people out here that's silly. It's funny bunny shit that be going on. Trying to kick the can down the road. I got you. My bad, brother. My bad. I thought you was coming with smoke, man, and I got a tobacco factory. You know what I'm saying? I sell tobacco, man. I got all the smoke, man. Marlboros, Pall Mall. What you want? What's going on, Moore? What's happening, brother? You cooking? You got the hibachi grill going? What's that? It sounds like this brother is cooking on the hibachi right now.
Story, presidential candidate Mays Gilliam is shaking it up. He's chosen his brother, Mitch Gilliam, a bail bondsman from Chicago, as his running mate.
Political analysts say this may be too little, too late.
Hi, I'm with the Port Commission.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Hey, Moore, if you talking, I can't hear you. This sound like you got the hibachi grill going and you cooking. I hear a bunch of static, Moore.
There we go. How about now?
You cut in, cut out. I heard you.
How about now?
I hear you now.
Yeah. I had to play that Bernie Mac clip right quick.
Oh my God, man.
You chose violence this morning, bro. He said, I woke up, there was no coffee, everybody dead. Let's go.
Hey, man, you know how I rock, man. Look, if the option of nuking is on the table, I'm nuking. Like, you know.
Oh, there's the red button. Let's get it.
Don't send the Marines in. Don't send the UN in. We're not bringing care packages. We just going to turn y'all to glass and move on. That's it.
Keep it moving.
No, but it's silly. It's silly because the paper that's being referenced with the extended CMH is telling you that the idea of the extended CMH, I mean the meta population within the Jewish Kohanim, it's talking about multiple haplogroups being involved with this formation of the Kohanim. It's talking about even when we read on that these other haplogroups contributed before and after the separation of the Jewish population. So if you see a difference between YSTRs or different haplogroups amongst populations later, that should not automatically eliminate them from possibly being a part of the Jewish diaspora. And even if they wasn't a part of the Jewish diaspora, they still contributed before, right? They still share common ancestry with their main group because they got the damn haplogroup.
Facts. That's why, like, scholars and DNA websites don't use this paper, because this paper commits a whole genetic holocaust on the Jews, man. It really does. Like you'll see where Yeshua will show you in a second, where it literally just decimates the population of South African Jews the same way that the same way they say like it decimates the population of Lemba Jews or whatnot, right? It's like, well, None of them got it. Okay, so nobody, the South African Jews and the Lemba Jews don't got the extended CMA. So what do you do now?
Right, exactly, and it's a fraction of the Jewish people.
Right.
So it's like if you use that to demarcate Jews, then you're gonna have to demarcate a bunch of people that you guys already accept as Jews. And my whole point of even bringing this up, bringing up the Lemba, really was inspired by Dante's video, and then somebody else mentioned the Lemba, and because people can't accept that other groups or external groups can mix and move and migrate to places. Right? There's somebody on the channel right now that goes by the name of Danoy. He got 30 damn accounts. He can't accept that E1B1A carriers or sub-Saharan African populations in general move outside of what we call West and Central Africa and mixed and mingled and migrated in places like Egypt, Morocco, Libya, Algeria, Southern Europe, Saudi Arabia, the Levant. He can't accept that. Because this idea that there are fine lines between racial groups that you can't cross over. But here's the thing. The beauty of DNA and haplogroups is showing that there is a lot of intersectionality between these racial groups. There's a lot of genetic crossover between these racial groups. You can have somebody that's considered a Black African that is more, in terms of paternal and maternal lineages, more related or more closely related to somebody that's from the island of Corsica or from, Bulgaria some damn way. Right? So, I mean, look at the Wayan brothers. The Wayan brothers have a East Asian specific haplogroup, but they're considered African American, or they're considered quote unquote Black. So you can't, a lot of times these people just try to use their ideas about race. And Danoy, you have said this before on a live video. Oh, God does not deal with the sub-Saharan African, using that racist ass literature to try to bolster your damn claims. People migrate, bro. People move. The people can move from a Eurasian location to an African location. And that's what we see with the Lemba. Their ancestry is showing you outside of the JP58, the T markers, the L markers. They're showing you that, hey, in the past, their male ancestry moved from a location like the Near East, Southeast Asia in some cases, to the east coast of Africa, and then later to South Africa, which is hilarious because that's what the studies show you. For anybody bucking up against that, you're an idiot. So I'm going to continue reading this. It says here, as well as evidence for the persistence of population-specific coordinating haplogroups, supports the formulation that males from other remote lineages also contributed to the Jewish priesthood, both before and after the separation of Jewish populations in the diaspora. Genotyping a larger sample of the coordinating Y chromosome from other divergent haplogroups may further elucidate the complex paternal history of Jewish priests and aid in identification of lost tribes claiming ancient Hebrew ancestry. This is what the paper actually says. So from there, I want to go back to this paper and I want to address the Semitic thing. Where is it at? Where is that part at? Hold on. About them coming to the conclusion that they are Semitic. Yeah, right here. Overwhelming support for their Semitic origins. Well, the paper admits that these guys are JP58. And what do geneticists say about JP58? Hold on. Let's go here. This is from the supplementary of the Southern Arc paper by Iosoph Lazardus that was published in 2022. We did a whole reading of that paper, and we even revisited that paper a couple times here on the channel. It says here, thus the entire clade JP58 is well associated with the Levant region, may have expanded beyond it. So this applies to the Lemba now, because people try to put the Lemba, since they're East African, South African tribe of people, and they look Africoid, you guys try to put them on the island like that. This don't apply to them. This is their ancestry we're reading about. They got JP58 amongst them. What the hell is wrong with y'all? They descendants of these males. This is why I said you deserve a smack. You need a smack across the fucking face. Let me read it. Thus, the entire clade JP58 is well associated with the Levant region, may have expanded beyond it towards Armenia and Iran. We're reading about Lemba ancestors now. It says by the Bronze Age, and even more broadly, at least in the Mediterranean world and later periods, we still reading about Lemba's ancestors. These are male Lemba ancestors. The earliest known examples are from Syria and southeast Turkey. So the ancestors of Lembas, Jews, and Arabs, they go back to Syria and Anatolia. It says right here, consistent with the suggestion based on modern variation that the expansion of this haplogroup occurred from northeast Syria, northern Iraq, and eastern Turkey. We still reading about the Lemba's ancestors. The Bronze Age distribution of this clade in all 11 countries, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan, we still reading about the Lemba's ancestors. The inferred recent Neolithic to Bronze Age origin of clades within the JP5H lineage and the present-day distribution in diverse groups of Semitic speakers all also combine to support its association with the expansion of Semitic languages. So if JP58 is associated with the expansion of Semitic languages, then God damn it, the Lemba have Semitic origins because they descend from JP58. They descend from this group that comes from eastern Turkey, northern Iraq, and northeast Syria. They directly descend from it. This is why I want to throw tomatoes, no, fuck a tomato, a coconut at you guys with this autosomal shit, because autosomes capture recent history. Your Y-DNA and mtDNA capture deep history. Well, y'all done got me started this morning, man. Let me read this again. Let me read about these Lemba ancestors right here. These South African Lemba or Rimba ancestors. Let me read this again. Let me read. A Bronze Age origin of clades within JP58 lineage and the present-day distribution in diverse groups of Semitic speakers all also combine to support its association with the expansion of Semitic languages. The latter has been dated to the early Bronze Age, approximately 5,750 years ago, by the Bayesian linguistic phylogenetics, with the first split of Western Semitic from Akkadian and a common ancestor of West Semitic languages approximately 5,400 years ago. All sampled certain JP58 chromosomes post-date this period and could thus be associated with this expansion. God, I'm just... Usa. We caution, however, that the early splits within the Semitic language family were inferred to have transpired within the millennium, and the linguistic affiliation of the ancient individuals is uncertain because we don't have time machines, can't go back there and record them with a damn tape recorder and compare and contrast what languages they spoke, right? This is how science works. A lot of it's based off hypothetical situations because we don't have the instruments and technology to go back and stream record these people. All right, this is very simple, should be understood. Although some form of Semitic language is quite plausible given their time and place, so an association of JP58 with either the Semitic linguistic family as a whole or any of its daughter languages must be clarified by additional ancient DNA study of diverse ancient populations of known or highly likely linguistic affiliation. So again, to recapitulate, these Lemba have males that descend from JP58. JP58 comes from northern Syria. It's dispersal, northern Syria, eastern Turkey, and Iraq. And then they disseminate into the Levant, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan. We are reading the history of Lemba. Period. That is shared history. This is why I'm just saying. Y'all keep trying to kick the can down the road. Oh, they Arabs. They still have this history. They still share common ancestry with Jews. Oh, they're Persians. They still have a history with Jews. They're still non-African. They still come from these Eurasians. They still descend from this Semitic speaking group. There's no way around it. There's no, you can't windmill on a cardboard out of this. You can't jam on it out of this. None of that stuff's going to work. At the end of the day, they descend from this group. They share common ancestry with this group. There's nothing you can say to deter that. That's the facts. That's it.
Your shoe cut out, so let me take over for a quick second so there's no dead air. One of the major things that from the paper your shoe was showing that really just shortcuts everything he's saying is when you look at the breakdown of the actual DNA of the Lemba itself from the paper. Hold on, let me go pull this up right quick. He'll pull up his paper when he come back in. I'm gonna make this big. There he is.
Yeah, my bad. I gotta buy a new cord for my mic, man. And cord keep falling out.
You can go back to your screen, friend.
What you got? Oh, you got the haplogroups.
Yeah, I was just trying to fill the dead air right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was like, because this says everything you're talking about, right? Because what they do is they test the Lemba, and the Venda, and right off rip, fam, they got 12 different haplogroups between the three of them. You understand what I'm saying? They got 12. They got A, B. They got EM40, EM2, EM35. I would really like to see a higher level test on that one for the EM2 and the EM35 to see which ones they are and whatnot. Bro, they got FM 213 and whatnot, bro. You know what I'm saying? They got K, they got L, my G. You understand?
Thanks.
Like they got all kind of R, like, bro.
They're meta population.
Yeah, they look like they're a mixture of India, Arabia, Madagascar, East Africa. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go, and here's the cold part, like what you're saying is like, so even when you go down to their J's and whatnot, like they got more. So this is what's interesting about them. They have more diversity in J's than what the Jewish population had. But even then, amongst that diversity, what Yeshua keeps saying is you can't separate that JP58 out, fam. Like it's there. They could have all kind of lineage that go back to like they got particular clades that and again it actually proves their story. It doesn't disprove their story. They got particular clades that go back specifically to parts of Yemen, etc. Whatnot. Right? Like okay, they can match that up. Got you. No issue with that, right? But they got this other joint like my man keep talking about that goes back deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And so trying to demarcate them is ridiculous and whatnot. And what's even colder about it, what I love about this concept is like, so what's that EM2? What's that EM35? What's some other haplogroups that we do see in Africa and whatnot, right? Like where do they connect to? Because now we're talking about extending the mixed multitude and whatnot and what that fingerprint actually looks like, what that footprint actually looks like and whatnot, right? I keep talking about all the time that we're like, so if you look at like the haplotypes associated with the cohenes and whatnot, right? Not just the J, but like when they test all of them and you look at the full list or whatnot, they need to expand that list now based upon the Lemba. You need to see these EM2s and et cetera, whatever the particular subclade is there. If not, just say EM2 now and just open the whole thing up, right? But that list of what you see with the haplotypes associated with the cohen and whatnot, the full list, I forgot how many is like 20 something, 30 something, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's that mixed multitude, fam. That's where Yeshua's talking about that point. It seems like there was a bunch of different paternal lineages in this priestly class. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, whole mixed multitude, fam. But now, based upon the Lemba, at the very least, right? People can talk about the Igbo, etc., whatnot, right? But what's more compelling is this juncture is like you got to throw that EM2 with the Lemba, whatnot, right? Because they have the Semitic population. And they got the whole E and J block part I keep talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot to talk about concerning the Lemba, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Dano. Apparently we're gonna have to cross swords at one point, fam. Wasn't he over on Garfield's channel? Or was that somebody else?
Yeah, that was him. That was Dano.
Yeah, we going to make that one happen, Kevin. Yeah, you got the screen for him. You got it.
He the captain of the Ku Klux Klan. The president, you know, on his Eric B. and Rakim shit. Hold on, man. Look. Check it out. So, where were we? So anyway, we read Michael Hammer's work where they get the extended CMH from. I mean, everybody that brings this up is basically just kicking the can further down the road, as I showed earlier. And the Jewish people themselves, the Kohanim themselves, would have been a meta population, just like he showed the Lemba. They're a meta population. They have several different founding paternal lineages amongst them, just like we see with the Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi. Pick a Jewish group, just pick one, and you're going to see multiple paternal groups, comprised of that group. So I don't get none of the argumentation. It just comes off as you guys just trying to demarcate these people. You don't want to associate with Africans. I remember being on Clubhouse and a guy was like, I think he was EM35 and he was a European Jew. I was like, did you know that your clade goes back to EP2 and I share that same group of males that you have? That guy, he froze. He froze. And he said, I'm just having trouble accepting that. Why are you having trouble accepting that? You don't want to be associated with my black ass? That's what it comes off as. You don't want to be associated with nobody that's quote unquote sub-Saharan African related, like myself, because I am from U290, right? So this is the idiocy that this race shit has created. That's why I bang so hard against it. And it's revealed when we start talking about these groups like the Lemba, these people that have external origins outside of the continent of Africa. Then you have, well, not even the continent of Africa, below the damn. If you outside of the sub-Saharan region, there's an issue between white supremacists and ultra Afrocentric groups. You know what I'm saying? Sean said, I remember that. Yeah, dude froze, bro. That dude froze like heroin in your nose. That boy was stuck. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to this paper real quick. We're not going to be too long here. I wanted to just point that out about the extended CMH and the idea of the Semitic origin of these people. Like none of this stuff demarcates them. If anything, it strengthens the argument. Because again, you can have your ideology, you can spew your rhetoric all day. At the end of the day, they have these markers amongst them. You cannot alter or change that. Anyway, after it says they concluded that the non-African Y chromosomes in the Lemba were of Semitic origin, and we just read, if you got P58, then you're part of that Semitic ancestry. It says use the combination of 6 short tandem repeat markers in conjunction with 6 biallelic markers. Thomas et al. Were able to further resolve the Y chromosome in the Lemba. They found that a particular Y chromosome haplotype, referred to as the Cohen model haplotype, was present in the Lemba at the frequency of 8.8%, 12 out of 136. The CMH had previously been reported at frequencies of 44.9% in the Ashkenazi and 56.1% Sephardic Kohanim, descendants of Jewish priests, and among Ashkenazi and Sephardic Israelites at 13.2% and 9.8%. So the general Ashkenazi population, they only have it at that clip, which is relative to what we see amongst the Lemba. Is relative because that's not much higher than what we see amongst just a regular Lemba population at 8.8%. And, the Ashkenazi have it at a higher clip at 13.2%. And then 9.8%. Again, this is a fraction of the population, right? Everybody else, all people included, not just focusing on the people that claim to be Kohanim, which have the higher amounts, but the overall Ashkenazi and Sephardic population, these are the numbers, which is relative to the Lemba. Respectfully, it says Thomas et al. Estimated that the CMH originated approximately 2,200 years ago. It suggested that this Y chromosome haplotype was useful in tracing Jewish ancestry. Again, so this 8.8% of the Lemba, they all converge with this 13.2% of Ashkenazi and 9.8% of the Sephardic Jews 2,000 to 3,200 years ago.
Hey, hold on, not to cut you, but let me deal with something from the chat right quick. So my G says, Shalom family. Some people say the Lemba tribe DNA test was altered to connect them with Israelis today. Have anyone else read or heard about this claim? He goes on to say, even one of the elders on video talking how the Israelis didn't give them the results back. So that elder on video was Kohen Hamendishe, who I've interviewed a couple times and I've talked to multiple times. I've talked to people who've taken the test and I've talked to people who administer the test, right? Like, so Tudor Parker was part of that project of administering the test and whatnot, right? No, their stuff was not altered. And what Kohen Hamendishe was referring to is like, so there was, the Israeli government did like the tests we're showing here, the DNA tests we're showing here. They're showing you like the Lemba, the Remba, etc., whatnot, the Vemba, all that, like all together. Like, so what the Israeli government did was they were refining the test to just look at the Buba clan by itself or whatnot. Like, so they were doing smaller tests to look at the Lemba as a group. And that showed to be like, from what they heard, like like their test went from like 50% all the way up to like 70 some odd percent. And then I believe something had happened to where they were just specifically tested the Buba clan, and it was believed that the Buba clan was at like 90 some odd percent with the Cohen modal haplotype, etc. Right. So, but they didn't get those physical results back. It wasn't that the test had got doctored to make them connect to Israelis or whatnot. It was that, and again, this doesn't benefit Israelis in any way, shape, or form. Like the people it wouldn't benefit people the way you would think, or the type of claim you're proposing or whatnot, because it expands this whole concept of what a Jew is or whatnot, to where like they can look like anybody, right? But no, there was no change. There was no changing of the DNA to make them connect to Israelis. And again, Kohen Hamendishe has absolutely no issue with sharing DNA with Sephardic and Ashkenazi Jews and whatnot. There's pictures of him with his arms around these people, fam. Just wanted to clear that up.
Hey man, is this what's going on? Because we just read that these groups that have the CMH converged back 32 to 2,000 years ago, right? We just read that. I'm pretty sure the people heard that, right? So this is what I'm gonna do for y'all, man. This is what y'all doing. This is what y'all doing. Ain't no doctor, nothing. Ain't no altering of nothing. This is what y'all doing when y'all hear facts like that get thrown out. Yeah. Jam on it. Yeah, we know. This is you niggas. This you niggas, man. Yeah. Y'all dance around this shit, man. Bird kicks, windmill. Jam on it. Niggas. Look, you making the Lemba got CMH. Look, this niggas. Windmilling and shit. What's up? Bro? Hey, son. How about y'all stop dancing and just fucking read, bro? Just read. Y'all dancing all over the goddamn thing. What did I just read, bro? Or did y'all listen? Or y'all even... Let me go back. God damn. All that windmilling and flirt kicking and shit. Sit your ass down and listen. Maybe if you listen and stop trying to dance around the damn subject, you'll learn something. Right here, it says, Thomas et al. Estimated that the CMH originated approximately 2,000 to 3,200 years ago and suggested that this Y chromosome haplotype was useful in tracing Jewish ancestry. Oh, I know a population that has the CMH, the Lemba. They had it at a frequency of 8.8%, just like the Ashkenazi had it at 13.2%, just like the Sephardi had it at 9.8%. All these people descend from a population that was once together 3,200 to 2,000 years ago. We don't gotta get on the damn floor and start windmilling and doing flare kicks and shit. Trying to dance around this. They come from the same population. Get over it. All this jam on it and shit. Supersonic Soul Force ass niggas. Shit. You niggas is something else. Let me go. Let me go back up, man. Well, y'all done got me hot this morning. Where was I at?
Oh, give me 2 seconds, bro, because I gotta do this. Yeah, you get me there with that, bro. Hold on.
And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people. Damn. Don't playing around here.
Oh, they goddamn dancing more. They damn dancing instead of just dealing with what was read. Anyway. Oh my God. Hold on. Where was I at, man? Anyway.
Yo, that's the quote of the day of Boo for real.
Real talk, bro. Anyway, bro. It says here, Thomas et al. Estimated the CMH originated approximately 2,032 years ago and suggested that this Y chromosome haplotype was useful in tracing Jewish ancestry. Again, the Lemba have this. The Ashkenazi and Sephardic have it. They try to use the extended CMH to try to cut the Lemba out, but this fact is irrevocable. It's still there. It's on their Y chromosome. They come from these males. There's no way around it. The CMH was subsequently shown to segregate on the background of haplogroup J-12F28 and was present in samples of Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Kurdish Jews without considering religious status at frequencies of 7.6%, 6.4%, and 10.1%, respectively. Increasing the resolution of Y chromosome analysis that included 75 binary markers and 22 STR markers, Hammer et al. Genotyped 122 Ashkenazi and 93 non-Ashkenazi Kohanim to further resolve the paternal ancestry of the Jewish priests. So he's bringing up Hammer et al. We just read what that paper actually included. Now we'll go back just to remind you guys, because I know you guys love the truncate information. Haplogroup J, defined by the presence of the 12F28M304 mutation, was resolved further into 16 subhaplogroups defined by the 15 binary markers. A new mutation, P58, defined the most common lineage, JP58, ancestral, and the Kohanim, and it was on this haplogroup background that the original CMH defined on the basis of the 6 STR marker system was found. The inclusion of 6 additional STRs extended this haplotype to 12 STRs, which was subsequently referred to as the extended CMH. 12 of the 99 JP58 Y chromosomes they examined, 87 carried the CMH using the 6 STR marker system. 87, so 99. Do your math real quick. That's 12, right? However, when the 12 STR marker system was used, only 43 Y chromosomes were found to have the extended CMH. Also, whereas the original CMH was found in several Near Eastern populations, the extended CMH, together with its 2 closely related haplotypes, had a much more restricted distribution. It was only found among the Kohanim at 29.8%, and the Israelites, meaning the Jewish population in general, at 1.5%. So using the extended CMH to try to cut off the Lembas, the African ones, we don't want to relate to the African ones. Y'all started doing the jam on it and shit, and windmilling and shit. You cut off most of the Jews because most of the Jews, only 1.5% had it.
Whole genetic holocaust, bro.
Yeah. Yep. That's a bottleneck for your ass. It says, but not among the Levites and non-Jewish populations surveyed. Given that the higher resolution at both the haplogroup and haplotype level help refine the definition of CMH, its frequency among the Kohanim, and its distribution in other Jewish and non-Jewish populations, the present study revisited the question concerning genetic affinities between the Lemba and Jews. This was done screening for extended CMH in a sample of South African Lemba and the Zimbabwean Rimba. Again, none of this makes any damn sense because you wouldn't expect the ancient Jewish population to all carry the same exact haplotype, same exact haplogroup. Because if you read what was mentioned in Hammer et al., as they quoted up here, where they get the extended CMH, we go right back to it. Here's the paper. I'm going to read it again for all you dancers out there and you break dancers out there. This is what the paper says. It says here, our estimates of the correlation time also lend support to the hypothesis that the extended CMH represents a unique founding lineage of the ancient Hebrews that has been paternally inherited along with Jewish priesthood. Here's that word. They don't like these type of words. However, the sharing of several less frequent haplogroups and monohaplotypes within these haplogroups, which includes what the Lemba have, because they do have the CMH, they just don't have the extended CMH, right? Between Ashkenazi and non-Ashkenazi communities, as well as evidence for the persistence of population-specific coding haplogroups, supports the formulation that males from other remote lineages also, there go that word, also contributed to the Jewish priesthood, both before and after the separation of Jewish populations and diaspora. So if you go to the damn source paper, it cuts what the hell they're trying to say and trying to insinuate. All right, hold on, let me give you this real quick. There you go, Sean. There, you got it. You got the link, bro. Natalie says they are hating on CMH. If they stop being so scary and take a DNA test, there may be something similar amongst us. I mean, there are people that are African Americans that have JP58. They're a very small remnant, but they do exist. I mean, why wouldn't they exist? They're amongst the Senegambians. And let me go to that real quick. That's a great segue. Because the overarching theme here today is just to express that people from other regions of the earth interacted with Africans. That's really what I'm trying to get at. And the Lemba are a great example of that because, again, as the brother showed their haplogroup tree that's provided in this paper, you see several different male groups coming together to form this group known as the Lemba, Remba, Venda, right? And even Jews. So you see there's different haplogroups amongst Jews. There are meta population. Jewish groups have R, Jewish groups have P, Jewish groups have K, Jewish groups have J1 and J2, Jewish groups have F variants, some EM35 descendants, of course, right? Shout out to my nigga Dante. They got some EM40 samples. So these, just going off this sampling size here, they have different groups amongst them. The Lemba Remba, same thing. They got some B markers. They got some EM40, EM2 markers, EM35 markers, some F variants, of course, J1 and J2, some K markers, some L markers. They got a bunch of markers amongst them. This is a meta population here. This is not just Jews contributing to this gene pool, but other groups contributing to this gene pool. Go ahead, more.
So you're saying they got A, they got B, they got E, and they got all kind of other stuff there, right? Like from F to J to L to K, all that, right? So what you're telling me is if we looked at the YAP model, that they got Ham, Shem, and Japheth all in their population.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed. They got all type of populations within them.
So for all these BHI that say that the Israelites only mixed with Hamites, it's not like, so no matter what group you put the haplogroups in, right? Like, so different people disagree on who Ham, Shem, and Japheth is. No matter who you agree on who is who, this particular list puts all three of them in the same population. No matter where you put the sons at, all three of them are here. So you can't say the Lemba now disproved the BHI claim, and again disproves like the Dante claim that the Jews didn't intermix like that, man. Like they only mixed with Hamites. It's not possible. The Lemba disproved that all the way.
Facts. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm at work. Yeah, and I'm working on the Sabbath. So what about it? I'm in captivity. I work till can't see in the morning till can't see at night. Anyway, so I, I just want to make a quick point. These guys are continuously always wanting to grab a hold and use the Lemba and say, well, I connect to the Lemba. My JetMax says I can connect to the Lemba. You know, these people are mixed. Yeah, you see the Y chromosomes. These people, you know, to the Lemba did their DNA. They connect to all of these different populations, and they are not ashamed about their Y chromosomes linked to. Just happy that their claims have been proven. The reason why you guys have a problem with, let me rephrase that. These people have no problem connecting to these Eurasian populations. The American Israelite or the BHI population have a real problem with connecting to Eurasians. You may have a legit claim of being a Lemba Jew by connecting to one of these Eurasian haplogroups or Y chromosomes. But you guys are ashamed of it. You don't want to connect that way. But the Lemba have no problem with it. I yield there. Okay, everybody dropped out. Am I still here?
Yeah, we here. We just got you on the big screen. Got you on Summer Jam screen, brother.
Yeah. I took the stage. They put me on the stage by myself. No backup singers, no nothing. No hype man.
No, we here, bro. We just put you up front. You don't see me back here dancing.
Nah, it was a joke. I'm just saying. These people, the Lemba have no problem. They are proud because they were able to make their claims stick using the Eurasian Y chromosomes and everything. You guys keep claiming that you're part of the Lemba group through GenMatch, but you are ashamed to say that I could be connected to one of these Eurasian subclades or one of these Eurasian. That it, it, it's mind-boggling how the how Eurocentric racism has you guys, or Western racism have you guys so shook. You get paralyzed once you're considered what most people would say if you have you're not black or you're not African. I need to cut it out.
Yeah, and at that juncture, it's not even like Western racism or Eurocentric. Like it's Amerocentric racism. It's our own stuff, right? Like it's stuff we gotta own up to at that juncture, right? And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous on his face. Like so like Yashib was talking about, right? EP2 kills it for everybody, right? If you're a Yap or whatnot, no matter what, you're already connected to European people. You know what I'm saying? That don't look like you on some downstream stuff, right? Like he was telling the Jewish brother, like, hey, like we're connected to each other through EP2. And he was like, well, I'm having a hard time accepting that. Fam, it's reverse. We're connected to him through EP2 too. It's the same thing, fam. So we're already genetics already connects us to people you don't want to be connected to, fam.
Yep.
Y'all are so ashamed. Y'all are so ashamed. I'm talking to the people out there, the audience, and not just the people in our audience right now, but I'm talking about the wider scope of the BHI community. You guys are so ashamed. You'll claim all day long the Lemba. Y'all love throwing the Lemba card. It's like the deuces wild in a game, or excuse me, the deuce of spades when you're playing spades. You love to throw that.
Right.
Oh, they can't be, they're not releasing their true DNA. You guys got all kind of excuses. This is the worst. Those people have no problem being connected to the Jews from a Eurasian from any Eurasian haplo or Y chromosome that they may possess amongst them. But you guys just refuse it.
Hey, Sean, and Moore did a great video yesterday. You know, I ain't gonna say exposing because the brother already exposed of Dante accepting that. See, I was under the impression because I don't watch Dante enough or a lot of his material, so I don't know his stand, like his talking points and all that. But the video that I was made privy to yesterday through Moore's Live showed that Dante accepts the fact that he shares ancestry with people of different quote unquote races that are white, white Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, so modern Israelis. He said in his video that his DNA connects him to modern Israelis, and he did butcher it. I'll give you that. He butchered it, but he at least acknowledged that his ancestry, his male ancestry, connects him to the male ancestors of modern day Palestinians, Israelis, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Mizrahi populations. So I don't know how old that video was that Moore showed.
2022, bro.
Oh wow.
He out here sounding like a whole yap member. You understand what I'm saying?
No, that's facts because I remember when we did our video and I bigged him up because nobody was trying to give an answer to Damon Richardson, Dr. Damon Richardson, that whole fiasco that we had with him, and he never answered us.
Right. He came out with I am the receipt joint. He was using that same DNA argument.
Right.
Yep.
So I bigged him up for that. Our problem is this with Dante is that he turned right around after knowing this stuff. The brother turned around and said that black Jews and white Jews did not mix, and then he put a challenge out. He put a challenge out. He said, "I dare anyone, I dare you to show me where they mixed." So we met the challenge, and we used him as the ticket, as the receipt. So
Like
this
he
wasn't
said, he is the
about
receipt.
this wasn't about trying to, like, knock him off his high horse or any of that. This was about correcting him because you made that live, what, 2 years ago when we did that. Our live, it was right after he
Yeah,
did
it's
that.
almost 2 years almost at this juncture.
Right. And then you turn right back around and you're telling the people that black Jews and white Jews did not mix. We had a serious problem with that. And not only did you say that, you challenged, right after you said that, you challenged. You said, anybody, I want anybody, I don't care who it is, show me where they mix. Well, you know what? Why don't we just put you on a goddamn in a high chair and sit you in the middle of the class and everybody just point to you?
Right.
Why we do that? And that's what we did. And a lot of people didn't like it. They was upset with it. They got upset with us. Oh, the yap there, they running with their apologists now. They're doing this, they're doing that. They running with Garfield. No, that's not. We were straightening out, just like Kelly Richardson. We straighten them out, just like Teo. We straighten them out. Benaya, we continuously keep straightening him out. This is not about us trying to tear them brothers down. What we're trying to do is get y'all to stop giving our people misinformation, because then we have to deal with that later on down the line. We see it on Berean channel all the time. We go to Berean channel and the brothers is everything is what Dante said. Well, the Teo twins said. And like, and you're like, hold on, slow down. Do y'all even check any of this stuff? Okay, we'll do it for you. And then when we do it for you, you know what I'm saying? We check the math, and the math ain't mathing, then y'all mad at us. Man,
And that's the cold part, because they ask that they come out and say, "Hey, check the math. Don't trust me. Check the source." Okay, we got you. And then when we do, y'all want to get mad. No, bro. Don't get mad. Get educated.
Facts, bro. And y'all keep bringing and venerating the Lemba. They're the ultimate. They're the ultimate example of admix. We looking at it, of groups mixing with each other. What do you mean they did not mix? Look at the chart. It's on the screen. Each letter, each mutation is showing you a different population mixing with each other. Dante, I'm putting out the challenge. Show me any evidence of black Jews and white Jews mixing. Sean, let's put you on a hot chair in the middle of the class and we can point to you. Yeah, he's the greatest example, man. I wouldn't be surprised more if Dante was one of those Senegambian merchants or traders, descendants of one of them Senegambian traders. I wouldn't be. Because again, we know the history. He keeps talking about, oh, go to these historic sources. Okay, go to the historic sources. You're going to see that Jewish people came into Western Central Africa and admixed with the local populations. That's probably why we see JP58 there, which was a part of today's show.
Yeah. I got a hunch my man actually did like his whole African ancestry. They told him the same thing they told, you know what I'm saying, Marcus Garvey's family, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you go back to it, man. You know what I'm saying? Spain and Portugal or France, Germany, you know, something like that, you know what I'm saying? And he just don't want to tell the folk. Because like when you look at his stuff, bro, like when I first tried to get at him over his DNA, I was trying to emphasize the East African side, the Yemenite side, hard. But when you look at his sources and the stuff he puts forth, it's like 75% about Sephardic Jews. He rarely touches about. So like you're talking about the Senegamian population that comes from the Sephardic Jews. He'll touch on them. But my man is not touching on them, that population that don't come from them, that was already there in Senegal, right? The one the one that became Muslim and whatnot. He's like, nah, let me leave them alone. Okay. it's just to me, it's obvious this juncture to where just like when the tail twins won't put out their mitochondrial, we can pretty much assume it's safe to say that this juncture that they don't go back.
Yeah. HB0.
Yeah, when I see you focusing like the majority of your stuff on the Sephardic thing, we're like, hey, we should see if your joint goes back to Africa, Europe. You're like, nah, I'm good. I see what it is now. You know, I got a strong hunch that he won't be taking you up on that big Y test. You feel me?
Yeah.
Hey Dante, get the big Y test, bro. Get the big Y. We want to see. Inquiring minds want to know what exact clade EM34 that you have, or EM84, whatever 29 that you have, so we can further investigate the issue. You might match up with a Portuguese population. You might be sent again. Like do your big Y. My bad, Sean. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying we need a terminal snip. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you had stopped. Yeah, we need a terminal snip from that, brother. Get us a terminal snip, and then we can narrow it down. There's nothing, you know what I'm saying? Y'all constantly, y'all connecting yourselves, and you may be connecting yourselves through the wrong route. You might be trying to take the West African route to do it, which is the harder way to do it. Where if you connect to any one of these Y chromosomes that's on the screen right now, it's an easier way to. Who's going to deny you that? Garfield can't deny. None of these people can deny you. That's been denying you that you Jewish. You're a Jew or you have Jewish origins. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Y'all want to take the harder, and a lot of y'all, have these Y chromosomes. Well, what's the problem? There's nothing wrong with being a convert if you think that all the Eurasians are converts, and so what? No, you got to be the original. You got to be the original.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and here's the thing: you got early Levantine ancestors, bro. Like you can take pride in it. I don't understand why you're not standing on business. Like y'all say, like the young hip crowd say, man, he's standing on business, bro. And also, Dante, if you're watching, or anybody that knows Dante that's watching, because y'all relayed the message last time. Dante, just because you have that haplogroup does not mean every West Central African has it. Every African American has it. Because when I watched that video that Moore reviewed last night, you were kind of like hinting towards that this is somehow your haplogroup is like a proof study for all African Americans. And this is why I bang on the idea of homogeneity every episode, because that's where it's coming from. Oh, I have this haplogroup. I'm black. They're black. We're the same. No. Ultimately, you and I do share common ancestry further down the road. But the lineage that you have went into Anatolia, went into the Levantine region long ago, played part in several groups, not just including the Israelites, right? Not just including the Jews. I know we put a hyper focus on them, but your haplogroup, North Africa, Levant, Southern Europe, Eastern Africa, you played a major role in several places. It's a well-traveled haplogroup. And again, I can't put enough emphasis on it. Just because you have that haplogroup and maybe some other African Americans have it, does not represent the minority, does not represent the whole. That's what you got to understand. Because you kind of tried to play the Deuteronomy 28 game and say, well, this proves and validates that Deuteronomy 28 is real because I got this ancestry that's tied with Jewish people. No, that does not confirm your idea of Deuteronomy 28. Does not confirm it at all. Because again, that haplogroup that you have is not conducive to everybody's haplogroup, right? Or representative of everybody's haplogroup, everybody's ancestry. My ancestors probably came from slaves. And that's another thing too, because I'm going on a whole tirade on this damn video. Moore did a great job doing that last night. That's another thing. We don't know if you descend from a slave or not. Because you made that, oh, how do I have this haplogroup? And my ancestors were slaves. We don't know that. How do you know that? That's the question. How do you know? How does Dante know that he directly descends or he gets his EL29 marker from a slave? How does he know that?
Could have been a freeman.
It could have been a slaver. It could have been just a merchant or a migrant that just came to the Americas. Somebody exiled over here. We don't know. You know, like there's other ways of modes of travel other than slave. That's another thing I keep trying to beat in y'all head. Because everybody thinks if you're black, the only way you can travel, the only way your ancestors can travel, and we don't even know if your ancestors, if we go deep enough in time, if we go 1600, if we jump into a time machine, chrono trigger this whole thing, and we went to the 1600s, we're probably going to be looking at your ancient forefather as a white Jewish male or just a white European. Let's just keep it a buck, bro. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's say you got the Senegambian ancestry. Before that, you're going to go back to some European man that goes back to Spain or Portugal or somewhere in the Iberian Peninsula or maybe France or Germany or something, bro. Let's just keep it a buck. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, not just everything that you just said or what Yeshua just said. Also, E1B1B, like you belong to this haplogroup. Not only that, there is a study that suggests, that E1B1B was a major part in creating the Semitic language or being the first ones to speak it. So like you're running around all these circles and it makes no sense. Also, I want to add that the very people that you're defending, most of them, especially like Benaiah, says E1B1B is Esau. So it's a lot of brothers that think you're Esau, bro. I'll leave it there.
Hey, long story short, Dante, come on home, brother. Come on over here to the Yap gang. We're going to get you right, brother. You messing with them Darbyites. It's time to exile from them brothers like your ancestors was exiled from Iberia, bro. And come on over here. We got the sauce. We going to get you right, brother, because they over there teaching nonsense. Edomite, E1B1B. That's bullshit, right? What we do know is your ancestry. You share common ancestry with Levantines, Southern Europeans, Eastern African, and North Africans, bro. You share ancestry with Semitic speakers, Afro-Asiatic speakers, bro. You share ancestry with Ashkenazi, Mizrahi, Sephardic Jewry, bro.
Like you said, you are the receipt, bro.
And I believe I sent them that study because I've emailed them. I've not emailed them. I've DM'd them or messaged him a few times. Just trying to get a connection with him. He went dark after inviting you and Moore to come to a conference to discuss DNA after the whole Teo fiasco. He went dark on us. You know what I mean? He did answer a couple of my messages from Facebook, but it was very vague. It was only thank you or something like that. It wasn't nothing else. And I was trying for, and he knows it. I've been reaching out to him on the low for a minute because he has sources. We just have a problem with how you're using the sources in the sense of you're continuously following behind Teo, or I won't even say you follow anybody because you might take offense to that. But you're BHIing and you're Afro-centralizing everything, and that's not how this thing works. It really doesn't. No matter how you try to slice it and what sources you bring up, you cannot, because every source that you bring up consistently talks about white Jews and black Jews, and you hyper focus on the black Jews to your detriment.
Facts. And they was literally shown on Berean to where like the sources you talk about that has the white Jews and black Jews does talk about the mixture, does talk about the admixture. And at this level, at this juncture, on a scholastic level, on a scientific level, when you're admitting that phenotype is fluid, you look crazy when you talk about these people didn't admix, man. And you look even crazier when you're sitting here explaining to people that Napoleon Bonaparte comes from black Africans, but people didn't admix.
Right.
Exactly.
Come on home, fam.
Hey, listen, we already got your company car assigned to you. We got your own company parking spot. Your office is ready for you. Your computer.
We got the corner office. We got the big window, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a nice view. You know?
And Abu already cut a signing bonus for you.
He got that Jesuit check right here for you. You know what I'm saying?
You got a signing bonus check. You got a signing bonus check if you just slide on over. I know you like checks, bro. You can act like you don't. I know you like checks.
Right. And after a year of completion, you get a bonus. You get a bonus, man. Abu doing is good over here, bro. On top of the signing bonus. We do Hanukkah bonuses, man. Instead of Christmas bonuses, our company do Hanukkah bonuses. Since you, brother, you know, y'all really deeply entrenched in it, so we're gonna respect that and give y'all a Hanukkah bonus. Come on over, brother. Come on over, Red Rover. Where are we at, man? We went on a long tangent on Dante, but Dante really inspired this video because mentioning Dante, someone brought up the Lemba, and I'm like, yo, it's the same damn thing. It's the same exact thing. So from here, we're going to go to the origin and diffusion of Y haplogroup. Y chromosome haplogroup J1M267. And really, I just want to go into this paper and just discuss that this marker had interactions when Africans came in, became a part of East African, North African populaces. And, you know, this includes the Lemba, because again, the Lemba have what? That major branch that you see on the screen there. P58. Let's go down. I want to go straight to the meat and potatoes of this. I want to go to this map here. And as you can see, J1 is all over. And as I said earlier, you can see it going into Senegambia, right? JP58 right here. JP58's frequency. How well is that on the screen? I want to make sure y'all can see that. JP58 is in Senegambia. It's also here. I believe that's Nigeria right here. You can see JP58. And again, this can all be explained because we had coastal merchants coming from Western Central Africa, coming from the Iberia, Jews being exiled, coming down. And it's right here. So anybody looking, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit more. I want y'all to
Yeah, they got it in Mali, they got it in Mauritania, all that.
Yeah. Trying to blow this thing all the way up so y'all can see it.
Hey, pay attention, vocab, because this kills your whole J argument, fam.
Right. So you see the P58 frequency and the STR diversity going into Senegambia, and you can see it also going into Nigeria. Again, these continents are right here. This is the Pillars of Hercules right here, separating these continents. There's been people traveling up and down from Southern Europe, from Iberia, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And during the colonial period, when the Portuguese were exiling their Jews, some of their Jews went to these regions, as you can see here. And as you can see in modern population density, we can see the progeny of some of those people in the west coast of Africa, in Mauritania, in Mali, Senegambia, and also Nigeria. We see these children, right? So, bringing up Dante again, the receipt, this could very well be the route that your ancestors took. Maybe you did go to Senegal. Maybe you didn't. Maybe they stayed in Portugal. Maybe they went to Senegal and went back to Portugal. You came over your ancestors came over as a migrant. We don't know for sure. We don't have time machines. But we can make hypotheses, right? Because even to this day, you do see this frequency within Africa. Look to the east of Africa. We see it all in the Horn. We see it in Sudan. We see it in Somalia. We see it in Eritrea. We see it. We see it all over. We see it in Chad, right? Going towards Central Africa. We see these markers, bro. They're there. This is the progeny. So for anybody trying to demarcate groups or saying Africa for the BHI side, oh, Africans have nothing to do with them people. Yes, they do. Look at it. They have a lot to do with those people, especially in North Africa, where we know that J markers go as high as I think 30%. 30% of the male population. And even in smaller fractions in the west coast of Africa and in Central Africa and in East Africa. The Lemba being one of those East South African groups, they carry this haplogroup that's connected to the Semitic speaking groups. What is the issue? I'm gonna tell you what the issue is. It's your ideas of racial hierarchy. That's the issue. You're a Black Hebrew Israelites, you think so highly of people that with that certain phenotype, right? That, oh, these people they cannot be connected to these white pale demons that come from Sirius B, in the words of Ron Dalton, that come from these alien hybrid serpent people that, in the words of Benaniah, that lived in the forests of Germany and then made it with the Edomites, and that's what y'all pushing. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, white supremacists say similar things about Black people in general. So when y'all hear these things, oh, I don't want to be associated with it. It ain't about what you want. You understand? I want to be able to live outside of the atmosphere, but I can't. My biological, my physiology will not allow it. Same thing with the ancestry here. The ancestry of these people are pointing back to this group that was once in the Caucasus mountain range, was once in eastern Turkey, was once in northern Iraq, that was once in the Levant. And they made their ways into these African countries and made it with the locals and created a progeny that we see today, like the Lemba. Many of the Sudanese come from J markers, right? A lot of them come from the Arabic expansion. You have Nigerians that come from J markers. A lot of them come from the Bagara expansion as well, the Bagara Arabs. You got Cameroonians that come from Arabs that have J markers, right? At the end of the day, these populations all converge back to a common male that existed in the northern Levant, in the southern Caucasus region. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, real quick. Also, let's not forget the MP DNA. We could just deal with recent history because the Nigerians are known for marrying white women today, or European women. So you might find some amongst children that are born in Nigeria. You might find some European or Eurasian X chromosomes in their children.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Modern day, you got mixing going on too. I mean, the Arab stuff is fairly new as well because a lot of those lineages are modern and some of it's like 700 years ago. Some of it goes back to the initial expansion period, like 700 CE. So when we deal with the Arabic expansion, that's going to be closer to modern times. Watch this. I'm gonna go to this paper. We dealt with this paper before. I got it loaded up right here. So this is from the paper, Dense Sampling of Ethnic Groups. Let me go up to it. You guys can see the whole thing. Go back down to the Arab portion. Just to show again that when we're talking about the Lemba, we're just talking about a Eurasian group, a non-African group coming within Africa and mixing with the local population and creating a progeny. That's what we're seeing with the Remba, Lemba, Vemba, right? Same thing here. This sampling of ethnic groups within the African country reveals fine-scale genetic structure and extensive historical admixture. We dealt with this paper when it was hot off the press on the channel, and it was March 2023. So I want to go down. That's why I want to save my search to the Arabs. First of all, let's go to the map real quick. I want to go to the map and show you guys the migration vectors. Remember Dante? Oh, they're boring. They're boring. Yeah, I mean, you know, you bored of you want to hear exciting shit, sensationalism. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. That these people expanded into Africa and mixed with the locals, and now we have their progeny. Some of you guys may be the descendants of their progeny, right? And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But there's a great map on this article that shows where these groups come from, their migration vectors, and their autosomal. Here it is right here. So as you can see, Arabia is lit up red, Egypt is orange, and as you can see, there's arrows coming from this region here going down into Central Africa and going down into East Africa, Northeast Africa. And when you read that, 1 and 2 are the Sudan, Beni Amir, and the Sudan Nileites, or the people that live in the Nile region. Right there, you can see portions of their DNA are comprised of the orange, which is Egyptian, and comprised of Saudi Arabians. You also see that in the Sudan Nile, and you also see that in the Cameroon Arab. You see a portion of the ancestry going back to the Saudi Arabians. Also with West African groups like the Cameroon Bantu, Cameroon Grassfields, Cameroon Northern Bantoid, and the Nigerian East peoples. They all have an Egyptian component, showing you that there were some interactions with people with those autosomes. But if you look at the migration vectors, you can see these Arabs coming down. So you're going to have people that have the J1 marker coming from these Arabian regions as well. And again, if they're P58, they're still going to share that common ancestry with Jewish people. All you did was kick the can down further down the road. You didn't change any damn thing. The common ancestry still exists. So from there, I want to go and explain the relevant portion of this. Inferred admixture from Arab-like sources in Cameroon and Sudan spanning 2,000 years. 4 supergroups from Cameroon and Sudan show evidence of admixture from Arabian and Levantine-related sources. And Arabs from Cameroon and clusters of Sudanese living along the Nile, pulses of admixture from a Saudi Arabian-like source are dated to approximately 1340 to 1720 CE. And some Nile-based Sudanese, Fast Globetrotter infers an additional older admixture event dated to 640 CE. Also from a source related to present-day Saudi Arabians, and consistent with the continuous gene flow from the Arabian Peninsula over a long period. In contrast, inferred Arabic-related admixture in the Beni Amir involves an African source more closely related to Somalis and dates to 680 to 1130 CE with the Mosaic and Fast Globetrotter, and 170 BCE to 580 CE in Malta. No Arabic-related admixture is inferred in the 2 clusters from South Kordofan region of Sudan using Mosaic and Fast Globetrotter. Malta infers old admixture in both these supergroups, although with larger confidence intervals, 4,590 BCE to 990 CE. So we can go to the next portion just to show that the Arabs were in these regions, mixing and leaving a progeny. It says, in notable contrast to the observed associations between genetics, ethnicity, and geography, a genetic variation patterns among Sudanese belonging to Arabic and Nubian ethnic groups. Real quick, this is what I was pointing out earlier. The Lemba are not a unique special group when it comes to J markers or Eurasian markers coming in. The Nubians have J markers as well. They have non-African markers as well, and it's largely due to the recent Arabic expansions. And some of it is due to older expansions of Eurasians coming in. Like we have the mummies with J1 markers in Egypt. We have those markers. So you have a more recent expansion and a more ancient expansion going into North Africa and going into East Africa, containing these markers like JP58, T1A, L, these several different Eurasian specific markers that are non-African coming into these African populations and coalescing and mixing and making the women slow motion for them, bro. That's what we see here. That's what we're seeing. We're a mosaic. We're not homogenous. We are a mosaic of peoples. When I say we, I'm talking about humans. I'm talking about Africans, I'm talking European, whatever group. Pick one. We're mosaics. It says here, variation patterns among Sudanese belonging to Arabic and Nubian ethnic groups sampled along the Nile using a transect approach show almost no correspondence with ethnicity and only a subtle isolation by distance relationship. In contrast, a previous study that sampled each Sudanese population from a single location found Arabic and Nubian groups to be genetically distinguishable. This is consistent with the Nile acting to promote intermixing, there we go, slow motion for me, among groups in Sudan, for example, as a corridor of gene flow, as has previously been suggested using mitochondrial DNA data. All right, so I know. I got BHI watching, so I need to help them out. What is a corridor? What is a corridor? Let's put that definition in. A corridor is a long passage in a building from which doors lead into rooms. Keyword passage. A passage alongside a railroad car from which the doors into compartments. A belt of land linking two other areas or following a road or river. So that's what we see here. This is a corridor. Humans travel through it. Humans from Eurasia, from the Near East, traveled through this corridor and made their way through East Africa. Again, more recently with the Arabic expansion, and even before that, we had a Eurasian spillover into Africa. And even before that 3,000-year-old period when we had Eurasians coming in, those signals, even before that, even during the Nakata period, even during that time, there were Eurasians interacting with Africans. We know this because of the material culture they left behind, like the lapis lazuli, which comes from Afghanistan. We find that in Egypt during the Nakata periods, the pre-dynastic period. They've been using this corridor, man. They've been going back and forth. And if you know anything about EN123 and the Natufians, they prove that as well. This corridor has been used. And that's 12,000 years ago. They've been going back and forth, man. It's connected land. There's connected tracts of land where people went back and forth. So that should be no surprise to you guys that we see people of Arabic descent, Jewish descent, or just flat out Levantine descent or Eurasian descent in general in African populations, because again, they're using this corridor, they're going back and forth, and they're migrating and they're mixing. All right, so let's go back. It says here, in contrast, the previous study that sampled each Sudanese population from a single location found Arabic and Nubian groups to be genetically distinguishable. This is consistent with the Nile acting to promote intermixing among groups in Sudan, for example, as a corridor gene flow, as had previously been suggested using mitochondrial DNA data. Almost all Arabic, Bajan, and Nubian individuals fall into two genetic clusters whose main difference is their proportion of genetic variation patterns inferred to be recently related to Arabian groups, 48% versus 12%. With less such inferred Arabian-related ancestry in the Bajan and Nubian individuals on average. All right, so let's go to the next relevant portion. The Cordofan, because they didn't find it with them. Let's go down. Can we date admixture as a result of Arabic expansion into Africa? We inferred multiple ways of admixture in Sudanese related to Arabian-like sources. In contrast to other sample Sudanese ethnic groups, the Beni Amir, a coastal Bajan ethnic group, exhibit a greater inferred proportion of genetic variation related to Ethiopian Afro-Asiatic groups. In an older wave of admixture from a source related to the Saudi Arabians and Yemenis dated to the first millennium CE. The Kingdom of Aksum extended across northern Ethiopia, coastal Sudan, and Yemen during this period, and was known to trade with the Arabian Peninsula, providing a potential explanation for the inferred gene flow, although other interactions unrelated to the empire could also explain the signal. This admixture event has been reported previously, along with additional non-African admixture dated to an earlier period in the Beni Amir, which we may not infer here because of masking by more recent signals. We inferred admixture in two other Sudanese clusters that primarily contain Nile inhabitants, dated to 1340 to 1730 CE, between sources related to present-day Arabians and East African Nilo-Saharan speakers. The inferred admixture date and sources consistent with previous findings may reflect the collapse of the Kingdom of Makuria over this period, which allowed Arabic groups to expand down the Nile into Sudan. That's that corridor again, that passage. In one of these clusters, we replicate previous reports of an older pulse of admixture between similar sources dated to 640 CE, 160 to 800 CE, indicating a possible wave of migration into Sudan that predates or coincides with the 7th century Arabic expansion. So if you have these people there since 6th century CE, you have these Arabic people there mixing with people of Somalia, mixing with people of Eritrea, Ethiopia, the Sudan, mixing with these groups. What are their progeny going to look like? They're going to look Africoid. They're going to have Afrocentric features, Afrocentric morphology. That's why you can't just go off how someone looks or look at their phenotype. Again, phenotype is polygenic. You can't just look at somebody and tell them of their deep ancestry because, again, these people's progeny would look like the local population. It says here, last we inferred Arab-like admixture in Arabs from the far north region of Cameroon dated to the 16th century, overlapping with reported migrations Arabic groups in the Lake Chad area from the mid-14th century onward. So again, in Western Central Africa, you do have these people that would harbor J1, would harbor T, that would harbor these other markers known usually associated with these Near Eastern groups. So it shouldn't be to anyone's surprise that you see this admixture. Just like we see the Lemba, it shouldn't be anyone's surprise that you have that admixture here. Let me go back to the other paper. Share this tab instead, because again, you can see J radiating all throughout different sections of Africa. Let's go back and let's get the other map now. Here's another map of all of the J1 clays. Let me click it, trying to clear it up. As you can see, Ashkenazi Jew, Czech individual here. JP58 splits there. As you can see, there are people in Yemen, Kuwait, Oman, Jordanian, and as you can see, there are East African variants. The purple section is East African. I'll show you the legend right here. East Africa represents the purple. And the biggest descendant group from JP58, L858, as you can see, all of these groups. Afghani Jew, Koine, is shared with East Africans. These Bedouin groups shared with East Africans. These clays are shared with East Africans. Yemeni shared with East African. Yemenite Jew shared with East African. Remember, the purple section is showing you East Africa. They share common ancestry. They have the same male clade here, same Y DNA, meaning they descend from the same group of males with East Africans. Lebanese, the Qatari, South Egyptian, Jordanian, share with East African. Druze, share with East African. Another Yemeni, East African. Palestinian, share with East Africans. Right? So you got West Asian, East Asian, European, South Asian. As you can see, there's a little yellow here and a little green. And East Asian. They all share that geographical distribution, which includes Africans. Why? These groups move to these different areas and mix with the locals. Look at this. Ashkenazi Jew that's shared with East Africans. That's why it's so silly to try to demarcate groups like the Lemba, which is not exclusive just to the Lemba, because again, this marker is huge. The descendants of the P58 marker is vastly huge. And they went to all different areas of the earth and made it and had children and mixed. So what's the issue? Let's see. Let's keep going. Shall I keep it going? Oh, y'all gonna dance around this shit too, huh? Let's see. More Yemenis, Qatari, some Arabs, Egyptians, Yemenites, European American. As you can see, has that East African variant as well. So as you guys can see, and even here, the two Yemenis, East African variant. As again, the distribution of phylogeny, we can see where they all went. And it includes Africa, meaning this Eurasian group ultimately had children that moved to regions in East Africa, along with West, East Asia, South Asia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't want to get too far ahead of you, right? So let's go back to the paper real quick. Let's go back to it. Origins and diffusion of the human Y chromosome haplogroup J1M267. And after this, we're going to go to the Y tree and deal with some Sudanese J markers. So we don't have to waste too much time here. Let's hard search it. East Africa. All right, so right here, it says, our phylogeographic survey has identified specimens likely connected to this branch. These specimens occur over a wide geographic area encompassing West Africa and East Africa. In East Africa, 40% of haplogroup J1M267 lineages belong to this group. And that's this group here, J1A, 1AZ2359. And as you can see, this was found in the Chalcolithic northern Levant, close to Anatolia, and among the Copper Age, Enolithic, and early Bronze Age individuals in Central Asia, adjacent to present-day northern border with Iran. All these individuals share genome-wide ancestry with either Anatolian or Iranian Neolithic Mesolithic populations. So when you look at these populations in East Africa that have these downstream clades of these markers, they connect to these groups here, ancestral. Let's keep it going. J1A1A1P58 represents the major branch of haplogroup J1N267. The frequency culminates in the Arabian Peninsula, southern Mesopotamia, and the southern Levant. Moderate frequencies occur in northern parts of West Asia, North Africa, and East Africa, and Eastern Africa. Lower frequencies in Europe, Central Asia, and South Asia. Early splitting of J1A P58 branch results in minor branches and singleton lineages distributed overwhelmingly among modern populations of the Arabian Peninsula, the Levant, and southern Mesopotamia, and East Africa. So again, groups like the Lemba, looks like Sean was kicked out. Groups like the Lemba, groups like various groups in Central Africa that J1, North Africa that got J1. It should be to no surprise, people in Eritrea, Somalia, the Horn of Africa, the Horners. It should be to no surprise if someone that's educated in this field or knows this field that they carry these markers and carry this ancestry that goes outside of Africa. Just because they look Africoid or have Afrocentric morphology does not change this fact. They themselves have this ancestry that goes back to Eurasia. There's no need to be dancing, windmilling, and doing a bunch of flare kicks around the subject. It is what it is. This is the reality we live in. The human families are diverse. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, so Ezra Ben Kazar, our brother in the chat, he asked a question along the lines about I think it was the Sudanese, and he asked if they had Levantine DNA from the Iron Age. So I don't have I can't show my screen because I'm on my phone. So yesterday, Jashu, I had sent when we had first discussed about you wanted to do a live on the Lemba and the Sudanese populations. I sent like 3 papers over, but I also sent a table of the haplogroups uh, in amongst the Sudanese populations from the Montesa paper. And if you look at it, if you was able to show it, I know you're going through this now, but after you finish this, you can show that, and it would show that they have the same genetic affinity as basically all of East Africa, which is the same haplogroups that you're pulling up now, or with the number as well, A, B, J, E. You have the same genetic affinity.
Oh, I see it. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I got you. Hold on. Let me put it on my computer. I got you, man. Give me 1 second. It's the genetic diversity of the Sudanese paper, right?
Right. And I sent you a separate picture. I dropped it in the Telegram in the Yap Gang Telegram. I sent the actual phylogenetic tree, a table with the phylogenetic tree. If you
Yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah.
you
I'm gonna
see it?
find it within the page so I can get a better image. Yeah, I saw it. It's within the paper, right?
All right, all right. Yeah, it's in that paper, in the Montesa paper. I think it's was it 2008 paper, 2010, something like that.
2021 paper. Oh, I don't see the image in the paper. Hold on, let me go back.
Oh yeah,
Go back to yours. Hold on, I
yeah.
got you.
Go back.
See, I didn't want to share it like this because I wanted to get a clearer image, but this is the paper you're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah, I can't read it because I'm on my phone. But if you can read it off, if you can make
Right,
it
right.
larger
Yeah,
without
yeah, yeah.
even
So it seems that let me see where they got some E1B1B paper, clades, the Aromo. They got some J1 clades, some J2 clades, some K2 clades. Um, they also have some E2. They got an E2 clade. They got some A3 clades. The Amhara. They have A3 clades, B clades, E3 clades, E1B1B clades, E1B1B clades, and what they got here? They got they got 15 J1 samples here, a J2 sample, and they have a K2 sample. And they got Senegalese here with an F variant. Some E clades. Yeah, so this probably from an older paper right here, what you got here, because I can see the E3B2, E3B1. That's older nomenclature. The Nubians have, I can't see what that one is there, but the Nubians have F, I, J1, and J2, and a R1B1B. They also have B clades amongst them. The Masla are mostly E1B1B and haplogroup B and A. So yeah, there's a lot of variation here. There's a lot of variation here. Is that what you want to show there? Did we lose Sean? Yeah, we lost Sean. Is that what you want to show?
yeah, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was because Moore had showed a phylogenetic tree earlier of the Lemba. There was some F in it. There was East Africa.
We lost him again.
Yeah,
Hey,
he cut out
Sean.
again.
All right, real quick, just to show this again. Let me see if I can find a quick reference to this. Yeah, here we go. Ancient West Eurasia. I could have just went to his book on this one. Right here, look, check this out. So I'm gonna just read the abstract of this paper. Ancient West Eurasian ancestry in Southern and Eastern Africa. The history of Southern Africa involved interactions between indigenous hunter-gatherers and a range of populations that moved into the region. Here we use genome-wide genetic data to show that there are at least 2 admixture events in the history of the Khoisan population. Southern African hunter-gatherers and pastoralists who speak non-Bantu languages with click consonants. One involved population related Niger-Congo-speaking African populations, Yap, and the other introduced ancestry most closely related to West Eurasian, European, or Middle Eastern populations. We date this later admixture event to 9,000 to 1,800 years ago and show that it had the largest demographic impact in Khoisan populations that speak Khoikwadi languages. A similar signal of West Eurasian ancestry is present throughout Eastern Africa. In particular, we also find evidence for 2 admixture events in the history of Kenyan, Tanzanian, Ethiopian populations. The earlier which involved populations related to West Eurasians, in which we date to 2,700 to 3,300 years ago. So again, we have the recent admixture event with the Arabs, and you still have a more ancient 2,700 to 3,300 years ago admixture event that took place, right? Of Eurasians coming into Africa and mixing with the local populations. It says here, we reconstruct the allele frequencies of the putative West Eurasian population in Eastern Africa and show that this proportion is a good proxy for the Western Eurasian ancestry in Southern Africa. The most parsimonious explanation for these findings is that West Eurasian ancestry entered Southern Africa indirectly through Eastern Africa. All right. So we know Eurasians came into Eastern Africa. We know they mixed with Africans. Like, I still don't get the Lemba conundrum. It just comes off as racist. Just comes off as racist. I don't want to accept the fact that they got that lineage. Anyway, so we're going to go to the Y tree and just show a few clades of the Eurasian variation. You can do that with EM123, as you can see, is in Egypt. A lot of there's E1B1B in Egypt. Boom, 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 Egypt. But let's go down to the J marker. As we showed earlier, this is going to hurt a lot of feelings if they stick with this. If this is verified, the RL20 clade being pre-dynastic Egyptian, 4,500, 3,500 BCE, which would show European introgression in at least Egypt would be that old, which would not be a surprise. Again, like I brought up, lapis lazuli, showing that long-range trade and interactions were taking place in Egypt for quite some time, even before the dynastic period. But JM172, again, this was found in Egypt. I believe that's the Egyptian mummy. They found there 2,600 years before present. Again, JL70, we find that in Egypt. So they were on the move. They were in Africa. As we read earlier, that we know that there was a genetic introgression event, a migration event that could have been caused, by the Bronze Age collapse or what have you, or the Assyrians or what have you, that caused a mass deportation of people moving into the northeast region of Africa, and then later into Eastern Africa, and later into Southern Africa. As you can see, this clade here has the Egyptian variants, some more Egyptian variants, J markers all throughout Egypt, and Egypt. So from there, I want to go to, where is it? I want to go to the Sudan. Where is the Sudan? Highlight real quick. Sudan Y tree. As it loads, again, I'm just showing like these Eurasians have been mixing, migrating, going in and out of these places for quite some time, man. And it shouldn't be a culture shock to bring this up. Sudan, share this one instead. Got some E markers there, some EM78 markers in Sudan. You got, let's go down to it. some J markers, which we seen within the Lemba. You got them in Sudan. And the orange ones are ancient, right? These are ancient samples that they have here. Boom. You got some some more Arabic J markers there, which makes sense because the Arabic expansion. Arabs came in, mixed with the East Africans. Very simple stuff to explain. Nothing too hard. Shouldn't be racking your brain. Again, a bunch of J markers. What is it showing you? Eurasian integration. Eurasians migrating into East Africa, mixing with the locals, and creating a progeny that exists in the modern population to this day. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about that. So we click this, click the Sudanese marker. See if we can get a date on this one. See how old it is. All right, it's not giving us a date on this one. But as you can see, this was found in the Sudan. Now we're gonna do one more before we conclude, man. I think we just made the point. We drove the point home. There's no need to dance around the subject. These people have Eurasian origins. They have origins outside. They connect common ancestry with Jews, common ancestry with Arabs, common ancestry with the early people of Anatolia, Turkey, common ancestry with certain Southeast Europeans, Southern Europeans, Northern Africans. They share that common ancestry. That's why people like Dante should not be ashamed of this. They should be this is honorary. Like, what's the point? Like, come on, bro. That's just East Africa in general. All right, of course, you're gonna have B, you're gonna have E, you got R, look, Tanzania, and this is an ancient sample, ancient sample, ancient sample. Kenya, Sudan. You got some J markers here in Kenya. I believe this is like 1500, 1700 CE. Which coincides with what that paper was saying. A lot of Arabic groups and Near Eastern groups were coming in during that time. JM92, Sudan, Tanzania, Sudan, J markers in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Arabic, Sudanese, Kenyan, Ethiopia, Kenya. And these are all JP58 descendants we're looking at now. Kenya, Sudanese, Sudan, Ethiopia, Amhara group. That's a modern population. The purple are modern populations. Eritrea, Sudan Arabic. I mean, the point was driven home, man. All these Sudanese people with J markers. How did they get there? Their ancestors originally were outside of Africa and eventually made their way into Africa. Again, it could have been a part of that migration that happened 3,000 years ago. It could have been a part of that migration that happened more recently with the Arabic expansion about 1,500 years ago, right? Point is, it happened. Yep, Swahili Persian ancestry too. Thank you. Yep. Matter of fact, that J marker right there that you see that says Kenya and the mitochondrial DNA is L3B1A1. Again, what is that showing you? That a Eurasian male mixed with a African female, that L3B, and created this Kenyan's line. This is an admixture event. So I was trying to tell Dante, you are the result of admixture. You are the result of admixture of possibly a Jewish merchant or a Luso-African that mixed in within whatever population in the west coast of Africa. And you're the product of that. It's just that simple. People mixed, right? So yeah, you're right about the Swahili Persian ancestry too. A lot of people thought the Swahilis were just blowing smoke up their skirt. Oh, we got Persian ancestry, we got Swahili, actually, and everybody was like, no, y'all just hate being African. That's always the go-to. You just hate yourself, you hate your African. No, actually, they were telling the truth. And as you can see with the DNA revealed shows that is the case. They found J2 markers. They found different Eurasian markers within the Swahili coast. So that's another group, right? Y'all trying to demarcate people off of race and how they look, and it does not work that way. So when you click this sample here, let this one load up. JP58 L3B1A1 is the That's the mitochondrial DNA, the female group it comes from. It's dated from 1500 to 1700. What does that say? Kenya, Swahili. The paper it comes from, the entwined African Asian genetic roots of medieval peoples of the Swahili coast. I got a great way of summing all this up. What happened when these Eurasians came into Africa and met those women? I got a great way of just summing all this up. It's very simple.
Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. Come on. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I'm a dick thrower, her neck and her back hurting. Cut through to have you like a brand new version. It's like once you get used to it, then you start serving. Hop up on top and start jiggy jerking. Slow down for me, are you moving too fast? My fingers keep slipping, I'm trying to grip that ass. Keep being hard-headed, I'ma make it get on me. Got a human up disguise, but my face is a doggy. If you loving my bulk, let me bury my bone. I got 4 or 5 bad married bitches at home. One of my bitches fell in love with that outside dick. That outside dick keep them hoes sick. Like, I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me.
It's like I got the world in my palms. Your girl up under my arm. She fucked up from the charm. She loved the way the dick stay hard from 12 to early in the morn. Fine bitches, if you're listening, you heard me, I'm strong. If you're going through your cycle, I ain't with it, I'm gone. You must have heard about them hoes that I beat up in my home. They wasn't telling the truth, baby, you knew they was wrong. Nah, make it official when I'm some of that dome. I don't mind buying blue, you ride too. Don't be asking nigga questions about where I'm driving you. The mama, my shit together, I ain't jiving you. I don't think that nigga could do you better than I could do. You know, the juvenile from across the street by the Derby. Same nigga used to be running with Rusty and Kirby. Can a player from the know you get a chance with it? But I can't bounce with you without using my hands with it.
I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. Slow motion, she open, I'm hoping she don't leave my dick broken with brush burns and swollen. I'm toting she wanted me to make her out a believer. I guarantee ya, I'ma see you when I see ya. And just don't holler out my name like we was all that. Yo, pussy, throw back, and you know that. So stop stunting, slow motion for a real nigga. I'm going off that incredible potion and I'm gonna deal with you.
I like how them Victoria's Secret sitting that ass. Let me pull some more hip and Hennessy in your glass. Would I be violating if I grab me a handful? I'm knowing what's happening. All I want is a sample. Who you with? I'm in the rental today. It's going down in Hampton Inn and I remember the way. Less money we spend on bullshit, the more for the weed. What it's gonna take to get you to come in slow motion with me? Like,
I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. I like it like that, she working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me.